Hi, this is COG part 2 for Wednesday, and sorry that I had to break that in two. So again, we are talking about our inner critic, and we have made this this silly entity, given it a silly name, and remember that it thinks it is helping us. So now, the important part of this is to identify when has this negative critic, self-critic, has arrived, paying attention to all the inner conversation that's going on, nagging us, putting us down, leading us away so that we won't experience hurt and disappointment, which actually makes life more disappointing. So we want to learn how to turn him off. Turn him off. So neutralize him, get rid of him, replace him with a new voice of calm. All right, so we may use something called thought stopping. We recognize this thought stop. Now, this is where you actually really talk to that. You hear the negative critic coming on, you hear it going on, and you say, whoa, wait a minute, that's not true. What proof do I have that that is true? Where did that come from? I don't have to think like this. I can totally think about something else. And I converse with myself as if I were talking to somebody else. Now, you may say, man, that's crazy. Well, yeah, it may be, but it is a whole lot better than being brought down by that negative inner critic. Some people will use a rubber band. They put a big old rubber band on their wrist, and when that negative critic comes along, they pop that rubber band and it brings them back to reality. Other people just say stuff like, stop, I'm taking control of this conversation. I'm taking control of my thoughts. Now, you say that sounds crazy, but it actually can be and has been done a lot. So, what about if you have angry, if we call them, especially for angry, explode heads? Do you explode? So if your inner critic is aggressive and causes you to be very angry at yourself and to do something when you do something wrong, and perhaps you take that aggression out on someone else, then you may need to develop a, a thought stopping technique that includes soothing self-talk. In other words, hey, you made a mistake. It's not the end of the world. Everybody makes mistakes. Being human means making mistakes. Mistakes are okay when I learn from them. Let me see what I can learn from this mistake. How will I do it differently? And I talk myself through the process. I don't beat myself up. I don't talk down to myself, but instead I tell myself this is an opportunity to learn and grow. Let me take this opportunity to learn something new and do something better. Okay. Another may be, hey, just relax. It's going to be okay. It's not the end of the world. It's a way that we visualize ourselves being okay, talking ourselves through it. Now, you may say, God, this stuff sounds really ridiculous. Does anybody really do this? And would it even work? Well, actually, it works very well. I use it all the time. So I'm going to give you some inner critic techniques of why they work and what helps. It says in my notes, it separates internalized core voices and beliefs that you may have learned from others. It separates you from them, separates you from those thoughts. You learn a lot about how you will attack yourself and the consequences of it if you pay attention. It allows you to interrupt and challenge irrational, automatic, negative thoughts and beliefs. It takes the bullets out of that crazy inner critic's gun, giving you rational responses and helping you to have control over your moods and your behavior. And if you can use humor, in other words, I call it my I love Lucy moments. When one thing happens, another thing happens, and it's all crazy, and I'm getting frustrated, and I'm getting angry, and I'm getting mad, and I'm getting anxious, I step back. And if you don't know who I Love Lucy is, Lucille Ball, look it up on the internet. Look at some of her videos or movies. She does the silliest things. And that's how I see myself sometimes. I act like Lucy. I drop things, I run into things, I make messes, I spill the coffee. When I'm spilling the coffee, before you know it, I dump the sugar container and I laugh because it's just like I Love Lucy, rather than cussing and putting myself down. Okay, humor. It may not happen overnight, but it will happen. It's up to you to take the time and to practice it. So, first things first, pay attention to your thoughts. Catch those when you feel bad, when you feel mad, when you feel sad. Check it out. What's the thought? Where's it coming from? It's not true. It's a thought. It's not a fact. Okay? So, tell yourself, it's just a thought. I don't have to think this way. Get rid of that inner critic. He is not helpful to you. Be your own best friend. Encourage yourself as if you were encouraging someone else. Okay, guys, I need that progress note in order to get full credit. Sorry that I had to break this into. Talk to you soon.